Meeting for November 19th, 2025 is called to order at 6:30 p.m. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Roll call, please.
Michael? Present. Shinneberry?
Present.
Schumacher?
Present.
On to public comment. Todd, do we have anybody tonight?
I don't know, we'll find out in a second. In the meantime, I'll go through the guidelines for public comment. Public comment is for a period of 30 minutes per meeting. Residents or guests wishing to speak, we do ask to sign in on the sign-in sheet provided. Each person is given 3 minutes to express their compliment or concern. Each person will be called to the podium in the order for which they were signed up. Yielding of time to another person is not permitted. Respectful communications between everybody is expected. If a person is not able to talk during the 30 minutes, we ask that you just send your question or concern to Pat Myers, pmyers@blendentwp.org. And as a reminder, you don't have to wait until the next meeting. If you have a question, you can always send it in. Right now, I've got Paul Hanley.
Take the ongoing line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next will be Tony Baker.
Hi, Tony Baker. I live at 2550 Clarendon Road. I just wanted to come out tonight and thank Jan and Kathy for your service. I know that at the end of the year, you'll no longer be trustees, and Kathy in particular, you've always been so kind to my boys when we've seen you at public events and other times. So that's been great. Also, just signing in and just knowing about the situation, the trial that went to a jury today. I think it's time to reconsider the public comment restrictions or the guidelines. Sometimes people can't get here at 6:30. There's things that you all discussed throughout the meeting that someone in the public may want to provide their reaction or commentary to, and other things like that. So, please consider, what's best for the township in terms of hearing from the public at these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
That's all the public comment we have. We do have a presentation this evening. So as many folks know, we have what's called a JED-Z, which is Joint Economic Development Zone, and that's with Westerville and Blendon Township. And part of that, we have put together a team that made up of the board members. Myself and Jan Heikel were board members today with a gentleman by the name of Don Reif as an appointee. 3 people were appointed from the trustees, and 3 people were appointed with Westerville. And we collect taxes, that'll be part of the presentation, but we also started doing a project for the Sunbury Road corridor. And that project was, what do we do to make it better for the residents? What do we do to bring economic development? Those type of things to that whole corridor over there, that area of Executive Parkway and Sunbury Road. We've had multiple ways the public could give input. We had an open house where people gave tons of input. So what you're going to hear tonight is a presentation from the folks from Westerville that are part of the board with myself and Jan about an executive summary about the plan to move forward with this project. Different stages, different things we're going to do. All came out of what the folks that came to the public meetings, the residents of this township are asking for in that corridor. So I would introduce Stephen Gale and Rachel Ray from the city of Westerville, and they're going to do this slideshow for you, and then we'll go from there.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Myers. Good evening, trustees. Glad to be here. My name is Rachel Ray. I'm the Economic Development Director for the city of Westerville, and I'm here with Stephen Gale. He'll introduce himself shortly here. We'll be doing a presentation, and we staff the JED-Z board that Pat just referenced. So just want to start briefly with a quick background. Again, Mr. Myers set us up very nicely. There's a map on the screen. In the bright purple there, you can see the areas of the JED-Z. So this includes the areas of the township that are non-residential, so commercial. So what that means is, in November of 2012, township residents voted to create the Blendon-Westerville Joint Economic Development Zone, which, as Mr. Myers indicated, is an economic development tool to support public improvements and development to expand the tax base in Blendon Township. There is a 2% income tax levied, again, on those businesses and employees of the JEDZ that funds both the JEDZ initiatives, like the one we're going to talk about tonight, as well as both Blendon and Westerville receive a portion of those revenues as well. Again, 6-member JEDZ board. Mr. Myers referenced the 3 appointed by Blendon Township, and 3 members are appointed by the city of Westerville as well. We have a city council member as well as a member of the city administration and a business person from the city of Westerville. So that's just a little bit of background. We did want to, before we dive into the Executive Parkway, I did want to reference that this is not the first of this type of planning study that we've done in partnership with Blendon Township through the JEDZ. Some of you may recall, about 10 years ago, actually, we did the Westerville Road area plan. So it's the area just south of I-270 where the Aldi is, the Sheets recently went in, that area. And of course, most visible are the Blendon Township wayfinding signs that you see there. That was an initiative done, and I know Trustee Heichel was very involved in that initiative to really re-envision the possibilities and show that public infrastructure investment and help lend a sense of place for this area. And again, since that time, we've seen that reinvestment with the Aldis, again with Sheets and a couple of other new businesses and new investments that have happened in that area. So taking that model and that mindset is where we have shifted our view to another key area of the JEDZ area, which is the Executive Parkway Sunbury Road corridor. So Stephen Gale on the team here will go into a little bit more detail, but part of the reason why we wanted to look at this area is a lot of the JEDZ's top employers are located in the office buildings. They are located along Executive Parkway. Kroger Marketing is the top employer in the JEDZ. There's a number of other businesses in that area, as well as some properties that are ripe for, again, new ownership, new investment transition. So how could we, in an area that's very, very visible along the 161 corridor there, and Sunbury Road gets a lot of traffic, how do we encourage investment and, again, do what the JEDZ was designed to do, which is expand the tax base? So we wanted to start with a plan. That's always the starting point. There is no commitment to an investment or zoning changes or anything coming as a result of this. This helps us get our ducks in the row, get the buy-in from the trustees to move forward with implementation plans, and we'll be back to talk more in details about that. So that's enough context. I'll hand it over from here to Stephen Gale.
Thank you. Stephen Gale, Economic Development Specialist for the City of Westerville, and I've been helping out with the JEDZ for about 2 years now. And when I first came on, this was something that this board was already discussing. How do we start looking at this area of the Executive Parkway and Sunbury Road corridor as a place to think about for new investment, reinvestment? How do we make this a better connected area so people know that they're here in Blendon Township? And so this plan, every plan that I've been a part of, we like to create a vision statement. That vision statement is something that just centralizes everything we do in this plan, so we make sure that we're continually pointing to that. So the vision statement for this plan is to foster economic development success that grows the tax base and generates revenue for a vibrant and prosperous corridor, revitalizing the underutilized areas and enhancing safety and walkability for all. So really important pieces in here, you know, at the very end, this is what we heard from the residents. They want this area to be somewhere they're proud to shop at, to frequent. They want to be able to move about it a lot better. But to do that, that bold part is really important. We need to grow the tax base and generate revenue to pay for a lot of the improvements that we heard and we think are necessary for this corridor to be successful. So just kind of a quick timeline. This really started about this time last year when the board voted to extend an RFP out to find a group to help us with this project. But come April, we had selected Kleinfelder and Edge, 2 groups that were working together to help us execute the creation of this plan. So on April 1st, we held our kickoff meeting. At the end of April, we held a stakeholder meeting, virtual stakeholder meeting with business owners, property owners, tenants from the area, and did kind of a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths and what are the opportunities for this area? Then on May 20th, Mr. Myers referenced it, we in this very room had a public open house and had a great turnout from the residents, and we heard a lot from them as to what they wanted to see in this area. And between what we heard from the stakeholders, the virtual stakeholder meeting, and the public open house, all of that information was brought together to create the plan that you see today. Since that public open house, the project team, which consisted of Mr. Meyer, Trustee Heichel, myself, and Ms. Ray, we've been meeting regularly with Kleinfelder. We've also had some follow-up meetings with Casto, who owns and operates the Sunbury Road Plaza, ODOT, who operates the light there at Executive Parkway and Sunbury Road, and then Franklin County engineers, who are in charge of the roadway network, and then the light at Valley Quail and Sunbury Road. So we've taken all that information, and we're at that bottom gray square tonight, which is presenting this plan to you as the trustees. And then going forward from this evening, we'll start to look at what steps we can take to implementing this plan as soon as possible. So out of this plan, 6 key themes came out of this: safety and accessibility, enhanced land use, retail activation, corridor branding, community and cultural connectivity, and then smart cities technology. Those first two there, safety and accessibility and enhanced land use, are the big ones. If we can get those items right, everything else will come really easily to this plan. And so that's where a lot of the focus on the front end of this plan is going to be, is that safety and accessibility and enhanced land use. So what do all those mean? I'm a visual person, so I'm really happy that our team put together a really nice set of images here. So safety and accessibility, what we've heard from the residents as the number one thing is how do they interact and get to this area? Whether it's sidewalks along Executive Parkway, are there opportunities to connect with bike paths further north to Westerville, or going right across the way, across Big Walnut Creek will be a new multi-use path that Rapid 5, the Metro Parks, are working on. This plan wants us to consider and have conversations about connecting this area to that new bike path. So it also includes things like crosswalks, not just installing them, but making them safe. So well-lit, well-identified crosswalks. Westerville, we've been using a lot of flashing beacon ones recently on our bike paths and have had a lot of success with those. So how do we bring that connectivity and mobility options to the area? Enhanced land use. Since this area has been developed, it's stayed pretty much the same. There have been some reinvestment when the new Tim Hortons came in there. The old PNC Bank is going to be gone here soon if it's not already been raised, and for a new use there. But again, the most important part of this plan is that we need to be able to generate new revenue to this area. So how do we start thinking about what we want this area to become? And so part of this is taking a look at what the current land use is, what the zoning is, and making sure that it matches what we want this area to become. Retail activation. Another main thing we heard from residents is they want small local businesses. They don't want big corporate name brands to be coming. They want something that's more locally owned and community based. And so the Sunbury Road Plaza is doing really well. There's only 3 small vacancies in the Sunbury Road Plaza. But what we accomplished out of this exercise is we built a really great relationship with Casto. We were just on a call with them this past Monday, talking about this plan with them, and they seemed excited by what this plan can be and how it can help them market this plaza to attract some of those smaller businesses. So we're really excited for that new relationship that's come from that strengthened relationship, and look forward to working with Casto to finding those smaller business opportunities. Corridor branding. Ms. Ray mentioned it. We've seen this be very successful here in London Township already. Down at the Westwell Road plan, what Trustee Heichel was a part of, and what, you know, a lot of people are excited to see. You now know when you drive south on Western Road that you've hit London Township. How do we duplicate that in this area? One thing we've learned, London Township residents are really proud to be a London Township resident. So let's make sure people know that when they're here, they're in London Township. So we're excited to see what we can do to bring that brand here. You'll also see that concrete wall in the top left picture. We've started having conversations trying to identify whose that is and what we can do to make improvements to that wall. Community and cultural connectivity. London Township is for everyone. So how do we make this a place for everyone? So whether that is reuse or using parking lot space for whether it be events or something else, how do we congregate people to this area? So this plan looks at some different opportunities along creating those events and opportunities for people to gather. And then finally, the last one, smart cities infrastructure. This corridor is really well positioned because the city of Westerville's fiber network, WeConnect, is in the area already. It is on Executive Parkway, and fiber being the backbone to everything that comes with technology nowadays, we can set this area up for success not just now, but in the future. So looking at things like IoT or Internet of Things to help with traffic light signalization, EV chargers, street lights. How are those thinking more smart than just simply turning on and off? So those are the 6 core themes that came out of this plan. So what's next? It's great that we have these goals that we want to get to, but what's great about this plan is it gave us a set of tasks to help achieve those goals. So this is kind of that implementation sequence, what the JEDSI board is going to take going forward to start executing on this plan. So the first one being, after tonight, we're going to go start sharing this plan with the property owners in the area, get them on board, get them excited about that this plan, see where they can start being a part of it. We talked about the enhanced land use, taking a look at the current zoning code, does it match what we want this area to become? Looking at what tools are in our toolkit, whether it's implementing a TIF in this area to help generate some new revenue, to put some of those bigger items into place. If we can get those first 4 steps thought about the right way, 5, 6, and 7 will come really easily. I like the 3 logos on the right, mainly because the JEDSI board was the one who brought this plan together just to help promote economic development. But what became really evident in this plan is that the JEDSI board can't do this on our own. This is really going to need to be a partnership between all 3 groups up here, the city of Westerville, London Township, and the JEDSI board to really execute on this plan. So that's a lot of information I threw at you guys very quickly. Is there any questions I can answer of the trustees right now?
That was very informational, thank you.
Very nice job.
Yeah.
Projected start date?
So the goal would be, our next JEDSI board meeting is in January. So after this evening, I have one more slide for you guys, but the goal would be to start implementing as soon as possible. So some of the bigger items like sidewalks, they're going to take quite a bit of revenue, so it's not going to be something we can immediately do. But there are things like surveys and other items that we can start setting those conditions, so when the time comes, we can quickly move on those things. So come January, the JEDSI board will be talking about what are those steps we can do to set conditions to help get this plan rolling.
Let me comment real quick
Yeah.
to Trustee Siamaka's question. One of the things we're going to do is if the board says move forward, JEDSI board move forward, go do this, one of the first things we do is pull back those stakeholders again, Kleinfelder, us, ODOT, Frank County Engineer, and start looking at funding sources to match funds with the JEDSI board. But until this is in place, we can't start those conversations saying, these are the projects we're looking at, these are the funding we're going to need, where can we go get that funding? And Kleinfelder will help with that as well, as part of what we've done with them, helping us find some funding and so forth. So it's one of these steps.
Yeah, if anyone would like to see the full plan, we'll be working to put it on our website, business.westerville.org, by the end of this week, and I know the township will post it as well. When you look at that plan, there's gonna be a lot of words and information in it, but it was written in such a way that should we go after grants, it's set up to like just be a copy and paste tool for us. So we're really excited with the plan that came forward. Mr. Myers is correct, we have to identify what are those steps we need to take to get to those bigger items and what grant funding is out there.
You have a question?
Yeah, I came up with a question based
Yeah.
on that, it jarred something. When I was at the open house in May, at my particular station, there was a lot of community input about walkability, all the connectivity
Yep.
that you were talking about, the walkability and sidewalks and things. How are we gonna communicate that to the residents that, yes, it's coming, but, and the plan that we saw before this one, it's not gonna be one of the first things, it's gonna be one of the last things. So how are we gonna get that across to them? Yes, that's coming, yes, we heard you, but it's not gonna be immediate.
Yeah, and I think that's where, so on our website, we have a dedicated page to JEDC, and we can start filling in a lot of that information as to, what we expect the order to be and why that's the order, to kind of give some of that fill-in information as to why, it sounds really easy to install sidewalks, but there's a lot that needs to happen for that, and there's a lot of money that needs to be found to pay for that, and so we can make sure that that's well laid out in, what's communicated on our website for residents, so.
And then this may be way ahead, but typically with a project like this, are you looking at 2 years from start to completion, 3 years?
So typically these plans, we like to look at a 3 to 5 year timeline. This one might extend a little bit further out because there's a lot of people who have their hands in the pot. When we look at the infrastructure in the area from roadways and traffic signals with Franklin County engineers and an ODOT, and ODOT has some limited right of way. There's going to be a lot of untangling that needs to happen, and a lot of people brought to the table to have conversations.
If I could just add a few thoughts too to that, it's a great question, and I think what we're trying to do is create momentum. I referenced earlier the Westerville Road Area Plan, which was done 10 years ago, and you can always go back to that and refresh it based on current conditions. But a lot of the framework is still valid, is still relevant. And I think that's what this gives us. There hadn't been a previous planning effort for this particular area. So by going through this, as Stephen mentioned, we pulled together the key stakeholders and the residents to kind of get things going. We want to see some momentum, but a lot of it, as you can appreciate, I know you're in real estate as well, a lot of it is a function of market dynamics, just, when is the right time for investment, as soon as, whether it's interest rates change or if the market becomes more favorable for new investment development, we want to be ready to go. Exactly what Stephen said. We've got grant funding opportunities, we've got the buy-in from both communities, from the trustees. So it's, as Stephen mentioned, it's really about setting conditions so that way we can implement as things proceed.
Thanks.
Kind of make one more comment. But what I would say, I think Trustee Heichel would jump in on this as well. Is there's some beautification things that can be done up front that aren't going to take a ton of money, right? Some of the signage that we've done down on Westerville Road and so forth, some of that stuff can be happening as we go toward the longer term projects. So we'll start to see some. We talked about how do we get people to get off 161 and go there and shop and go there and do things, and what can we do? So I think some of that stuff will be up front. So we'll see some momentum, for lack of a better term. That's a great term, because now we've seen that. Wow, that stuff's coming. So that would be a good first step for us. Is how to just make the area look better and make people know this is Blended Township. Because right now I don't know that everyone knows that's Blended Township, right? So. Sorry.
So if there are no more questions, and if you do, please feel free to cut me off. At our last JEDC board meeting, the board unanimously recommended the approval of this plan by the Blended Township trustees. So I would ask if you guys feel comfortable to take a motion to accept the JEDC board's approval of the Executive Parkway Sunbury Road Corridor Plan as the plan for this area.
I will make the motion to accept the executive summary as presented.
I'll second. Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Yamaco?
Yes.
Thank you guys very much.
You guys are welcome to stay. It's riveting, but you can also, it's up to you.
Let's move on to trustee comments. Ladies, okay.
Back in, was towards the end of September, I had mentioned ways to reduce your property taxes. At that time, Franklin County did not have firm dates on when you could file a complaint. I spoke with Candace with Franklin County Board of Revisions this week about submitting a request to reduce property taxes to the Board of Revisions, and they have now established the filing season is from October 30th, 2025 through March 31st, 2026. E-filing is easy in 2 simple steps. 1, read the instructions on the page, and I'll give you the website and their phone number. 2, fill out the form, add optional attachments, certify and submit. Upon successful completion, you will receive a confirmation email with a copy of your filing and the next steps. The form can also be submitted in person or by mail. Their address is 373 South High Street, 20th floor, Columbus 43215. You can fax 614-525-6252. The Board of Revisions they have this standardly on their site, but may increase or decrease the total value of any parcel included in a complaint. I've filed complaints, I don't even know how many times over the past 30 years, and usually if you do it correctly, and don't be intimidated, because when you get on there and you start looking at the documents, and I do have a copy of them, Pat, if anybody requests, I can send it to you, you can add it to the website. It can be intimidating, but don't let it be. Just kind of look at it, walk it through, submit, and you'll find out in a couple months if they're going to talk to you on the phone or have you come down. But it's really, really easy. Don't let it intimidate you. The board will notify all parties not less than 10 days prior to the actual hearing of the time and place the complaint will be heard. This year, when I filed a complaint last year for this year, it was a phone discussion. And 20 minutes later, they agreed to what I requested. The complaint should submit any document supporting the claim valuation to the board prior to the hearing. And there's an Ohio Revised Code section 5715.19G. If you have any questions, you can look at that. And if you have any questions about the process, please contact 614-525-3913, or you can email the Board of Revisions, and they're super quick to reply, bor@franklincountyohio.gov. And then one other little thing that you may or may not know, that we received an update from the Ohio Township Association that the Ohio minimum wage is being increased to $11 per hour in 2026. And that's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Heckle, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay, I just have a couple of quickies. I see some scouts here from Troop 192, and I would like to publicly thank them for doing the flag ceremony and presenting and bringing the American flag forward for the Township Veterans Day service last week. Great job, Troop. And also, since Thanksgiving is next Thursday, November 27th, I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful day. Okay, on to the fiscal officer report.
Have you had a chance to look at the minutes from November 5th, 2025?
Yes, and I will move to approve the minutes from 11/5 of 25.
Second?
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Yamaco?
Yes.
And have you had a chance to approve or to review the purchase orders?
Yes, I will move to approve the purchase orders as presented.
Second?
Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Yamaco?
Yes.
And then have you had a chance to review the bills?
Yes, and I will move to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Yamaco?
Yes.
And then have you had a chance to review the September 2025 bank reconciliation?
Yes, and I will move to approve the September bank reconciliation as presented.
Second?
Any discussion? discussion? Call for the vote.
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes.
Simoco?
Yes.
And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, on to Administration and Human Resources.
Thank you. First, Valerie Shaw at the Senior Center approached myself and asked to send it to you all, and I did, about putting a pet policy in place for the buildings on the complex. There's been, and I think Trustee Shineberry may have an email from Valerie, some instances you have people that are A, allergic to animals, dogs mainly, that come in here. We have a couple people that are deathly frightened of them. Margaret was a postal worker, and she literally is afraid of any dog. It's unbelievable how afraid she is. So anyways, and also had an instance where a dog jumped up and knocked one of our seniors down. So we just felt Val feels it makes sense if the trustees so agree that we would have a policy that unless it's an ADA certified service animal, that dogs would not be in the building, or any of the buildings for that matter.
So you're asking for the motion?
I am, if you.
Okay. I will move to approve a Blendon Township pet policy for all buildings on the complex effective immediately as presented.
I will second.
Any discussion?
No, makes sense.
Yeah, I will just add, I mean, I have Val, who's the director, I have her email, and I was gonna read that part of it, but Pat already kind of itemized the things that she brought up, so I won't duplicate those, but there were enough incidences. I think this is a good thing to do for the township. So call for the vote?
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes.
Simoco?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, on January 1st of every year, Valerie has folks sign a transportation waiver because we transport them around and so forth. And she'd also like to put in place for the senior center a photography release form. A lot of photos get taken and so forth. So we just would like to formalize having a form they sign, and she would have to sign that along with the transportation waiver at the beginning of the year and have it on file and everybody that's a member. So I would ask for a motion to approve that as she presented as well.
I will move to approve Blendon Township photography release form for the Blendon Township Senior Center as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes.
Simoco?
Yes.
Thank you. Myers Landscaping is the company that's used M-E-Y-E-R-S, not M-Y-E-R-S, just for everybody's information. They do all the mowing and taking care of the cemetery, and they've given us a rates for this year. It is 2.2% more than last year, which is a fairly small increase for those type of services. So I would ask that you, I would ask for a motion to approve Myers Landscaping Services Agreement for mowing cemetery, trimming the cemetery, sidewalk edging, and policing of the grounds for trash in the amount of $38,411.62. 26 visits and around $1,400 a visit.
Okay, well, I will move to approve the Myers Landscape Services Agreement for the 2026 season as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes.
Simoco?
Yes.
Thank you. And next, for 2026, as you all know, Brosses, Johnson & Griggs LLC acts as our law director as part of the home rule resolution. And I would ask to approve the 2026 rates for their legal services that I had presented to you. So we can go ahead and approve those if you would.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2025-31, which approves the 2026 rates for legal services provided by Brosses, Johnson & Griggs LLC.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes.
Simoco?
Yes.
And lastly, I would ask, with Trustee Heichel not joining us going into next year, the JEDZ board will need a person to replace Trustee Heichel. So I would ask for a motion to, for an appointment to the JEDZ board along with myself and Mr. Reif from the township.
I will take this. I'll move to appoint Trustee Delina Siamaco as a member of the Blendon Westerville JEDZ Board and to include the Sunbury Road Corridor Project Team effective January 1st, 2026.
I'll second. Any discussion?
I'd be honored to be on that board.
Call for the vote.
Heickel?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes.
Piamaco?
Yes.
Is that it?
The only other thing I have is I've had an opportunity, first of all, I'm very lucky to have people that work with me here with Valerie Shaw as the director of the Senior Center, and Eric Moore taking care of zoning, and Matt in service. One of the people I don't talk about a lot is Taylor Voigt. Taylor runs a cemetery. She sells the plots. She does everything for the cemetery for us, along with a heck of a lot of other stuff she does. And a lot of what she does is behind closed doors, and no one ever sees what she does until we get something like this. And I got this card today, and it says, just wanted to thank, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Wanted to thank her, but the last part of it's the best part. It just says, I'll find it now, the writing's not that great. Anyway, thank you for your kindness that you shared and your sympathy that you gave us. You took the time to go out into the cemetery with us and look at all the different various plots of where we could buy. We're so grateful for your care and understanding. Please know how much this means to us and to our whole family. So I get things like this occasionally, but that all happens behind closed doors and no one ever sees what Taylor does, So I just wanted you guys to know, and the residents know, that Taylor's just killing it for us at the cemetery. That's all I have.
Okay.
That word.
Yeah.
You're doing a fabulous job.
And there's nothing wrong with that handwriting. I can read it from here.
I don't know, you got good eyes now. Anyway, she's doing a great job, and I appreciate her, and I wanted you all to know.
Thank you for hearing that.
Yes. On to maintenance, building and grounds, parks and cemetery, Mr. Newman.
I'd just like to say thank you to the Boy Scout Group 700 and their leader, Tim Atkins, for coming out and putting flags up in our cemetery for Veterans Day. They did a wonderful job.
All right. Is that everything?
How many flags?
It was about 1,500.
Wow.
On to the police department.
I do have something. On behalf of the police department, I am requesting that the Board of Trustees consider extending the benefits of Section 32.5 of the collective bargaining agreement to retired Detective Eric Moore. This section authorizes members who have retired in good standing and that have no disqualifying circumstances the ability to purchase their township duty firearms and retirement badge as outlined in the section provided to the board. This section was added to the contract in 2025 based on it being a standard practice of many police departments in the central Ohio area. So I ask that you guys allow me to do that.
Okay, I will move to approve the purchase of 2 firearms, it says here for $1 each, in accordance with Article 32.5, purchase of service weapons upon retirement of the current collective bargaining agreement for Detective Eric Moore after 26 years of service to the Blendon Township Police Department.
I will second.
Any discussion?
We appreciate his service.
Call for the vote.
Heickel?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes.
Piamaco?
Yes.
Anything else?
That's it?
Okay, on to the fire department.
I want to apologize for my late arrival, first of all. And I have nothing unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay.
For the record, she went late. She came, had to do a call, and came back, so.
That is true.
We understand.
I was late.
Make sure it was on the record.
Thanks.
Anything else for the good of the business meeting? Okay, well, the next regular trustee meeting is December 3rd at 6:30. And as a reminder, I just want to say have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. So I will move to adjourn this meeting at 7:09 p.m.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Heickel? Yes. Shineberry?
Yes,
Piamaco?
Yes.
this meeting is now adjourned.